Strong looks different for each of us, and it's time to put focus on our unique journeys that get us there. This space, created weekly, is for athletes to improve their mindset in order to better navigate challenges that come up in sport and in different seasons of life. On this show, we ask the questions that lead to better answers and have the conversations that truly matter. This is the Becoming Your Strong podcast. Hey, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Becoming Your Strong podcast. This is going to be a pretty cool episode, and I'm going to just jump straight into the Becoming Your Strong moment of the week because this kind of inspired the reason that I'm doing this podcast. A couple weeks ago, I had a friend that I knew from college that came to me and was like, hey, I don't know if you are still looking to do like some keynote speaking type stuff, but I've always really resonated with your story. And there's an organization that I'm working with that's looking for a keynote speaker. And they asked us, staff and faculty, if we knew anyone that would be a good fit for our theme of leveling up. And you were the first person that came to mind. So no pressure, no worries if it's not something that you think is in the cards for you to do, but I just wanted to let you know that I was thinking about you. I think that you would really inspire people no matter what you got up there and said. And obviously would love to see you take it on if you can. And so I was absolutely flattered. I was like, wow. Like, I remember the Kayla from 2020, 2021, that was like so dead set on, I'm going to be a keynote speaker. I'm going to make it big. And that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to speak to people and inspire them. And then came the podcast and my shows on Instagram and Facebook, like those started first. And then I got into the podcast and I realized that I didn't need to be on stage, so that I can make my own stage. And that's how this sort of production has really come to life and has gained so much of a following and a fan crew. So I was like thinking about the Kayla back then that would have gotten this news and was like, holy cow, like this is big. Like this is the start to something incredible. There was that part of me that was like, I haven't like gotten up and done like an actual speech in a while. Like I've been behind a microphone with a couple of bullet points and I'm very unpolished. I just speak from the heart and let whatever tangents come and go, right? And I just started to think like, I don't know if I'm like really what they're looking for, if I'm able to do this. Like I started to feel some imposter syndrome. And I just ultimately leaned into this feeling of live this dream for the girl that would have killed for this. Like this is everything that you have been working for. Maybe not everything, but this at one point was something in your life that you were working for. You know that you want to do it, but fear is just holding you back. The fear of not being good enough to actually meet expectations. Don't allow for that feeling of not being enough hold you back in this. Do the thing and watch yourself rise to the occasion. And so I ended up saying yes. And this upcoming Friday, I'm going to be giving a speech to the FCC LA down in Inglewood at a high school down there. It's an organization that's student ran. And it's quite impressive. Take a look at it. But I really believe in the organization and what the students are doing and how they're preparing themselves for life. And I'm very honored to get the opportunity to speak for them and share with them my story that's all about leveling up, my level up journey. So today on the podcast, I wanted to take the opportunity to actually do the dry run of what it is that I plan to talk about at the conference this week. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, pretend like you're a 14 to 16-year-old teenager, and let's take a ride. So their theme of this year is all about leveling up. And Carla, the faculty that talked to me about this, said, just tell us anything that relates to that topic. We're pretty open here. And my last 5 years of my life, 5 to 6 years of my life, has literally been nothing but continually leveling up. And if there's anything that I would want to leave these students with, it would be the 7 most important lessons that I learned as I was leveling up through every single different chapter of my life. And so that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. And all of this started when I went to school at Colorado State University in Fort Collins. And at that point in my life, I was pretty dead set on becoming a therapist, like so dead set on it. I remember that in my final semester of my junior year, I was sitting in a self-care class and I had this feeling, like this gut reaction of like, oh my God, this is not what I'm meant to do. This is not the career path for me after all. And as a student who is getting ready to enter into her senior year, that has always been like a top performer, has had her life together, has had a plan, these big goals, is out there achieving them, to have that moment was incredibly tough. And I had the classic freak out moment wondering, what was I going to do with my life? And I felt like a failure because I no longer had a plan. I no longer had it figured out. If my now adult self could go back and comfort my younger self in that moment, I would just give her the biggest hug of all. And I would tell her that you're never going to have everything in this life figured out. And that's okay. That's the beauty in life. Life isn't about executing a perfect plan. And quite honestly, you're not a failure when things do not go as planned. The most important lesson that I learned in this moment was how to be open-minded and to trust that the right things would come for me. I just needed to be patient and to trust in divine timing. I just want everyone listening to this to take a moment to close the eyes and take a really big deep breath. I want you to think about the one thing that is weighing you down, that is heavily on your shoulders. Maybe it's a decision you have to make, an action you need to take. You're not sure what your next move is. As you think about those things, I want you to tell yourself, I see you and I validate how this makes you feel. Then out loud, I want you to repeat this after me. I have my own back, and I trust that with time, things will fall into place. Learning this lesson was absolutely crucial in my journey and being able to level up. It reminded me that I didn't have to have all the answers. As long as I continued to be open-minded and patient, I would find myself in the right places. Speaking of right places, it wasn't too long after that when I discovered what I was actually going to do for a big girl job. I was the vice president of recruitment for the Panhellenic Council at the time, and I loved the whole process that went behind helping women in the community find a sorority chapter that was the best fit for them. I thrived on it. I told myself, man, if I could do this as a big girl job post-college, I would take it instantly. And then the opportunity came to become a professional recruiter. I found out that that was actually a thing. And I got to be a recruiter for a staffing company in the local Denver area. I loved my job because I actually got the chance to impact people's lives by helping them find their next career. My passion allowed for me to become pretty successful fairly quickly. I had the income. I was getting all the promotions, the company trips, all the perks. Now, a lot of people would see that as success and that I was super lucky. Over time, though, I unfortunately found myself in a very dark place. I found myself that I was no longer physically or mentally healthy. I'd stopped taking care of myself. I was working way too many hours. And I was in a terrible relationship that eventually brought me to my rock bottom. I remember having this moment in a dressing room that I will never, ever forget. I was trying on bridesmaid dresses for my best friend's wedding that was coming up. And I had to keep asking for bigger and bigger sizes because absolutely nothing was fitting. I don't remember the last time, honestly, that I had actually looked myself eye to eye in the mirror and just realized that I wasn't okay. I was over 200 pounds. I was no longer in good health. I had no idea who I was anymore. And if I did not do something to turn this around, I was heading nowhere good fast. I had no idea where to start. So I just started with making healthier choices and starting to do some exercise. When I started showing up for myself in this way consistently, time after time again, I realized that I needed to rid myself of the toxicity in my life and end the relationship that was turning me into a complete monster. A year and a half later, I was 75 pounds down. I had turned my life around completely. And that is when I learned another really important lesson. If I ever wanted to have success in multiple capacities of my life, it all started and depended on me taking care of myself. That I was the most important investment that I'd ever make in my life. And it was crucial to take care of myself physically, emotionally, and mentally. Knowing this, I want you guys to take a moment now to reflect and think about what is one way that you can commit to taking care of yourself. Maybe you're already doing this and something is working for you. That's amazing. But maybe you're not, and you need to take this lesson seriously. This is not just for when things get tough. This is on a daily basis to keep you healthy mentally, physically, and emotionally. When you have that thing, I want you to turn to the person next to you and share it. I felt like I was starting a whole new chapter of my life now. Like I was really capable of anything, and that was such a freeing feeling. Little did I know that this was just the beginning of something greater that was on the way for me. My weight loss transformation inspired so many people, and I found myself being constantly asked, how did you do it? Would you be able to help me navigate it? I'll be honest, I was totally flattered, but my imposter syndrome hit me so hard. Who was I to try and help these people? I had zero education, no pieces of paper that said that I could, so clearly I had no business in doing so. There was like this fire in my belly that told me that I could, that I had real life experience and a story that resonated, along with this passion to just serve people. As loud as the imposter syndrome voices in my head were, I somewhere deep down found the courage to turn the volume down on those and just be there for the people. And this is where the story gets really good now. COVID-19. This hit suddenly, and our world is absolutely turned upside down. While I had no fears of losing my job security, I was very lucky. All the time that I was spending at home thinking about things made me realize that I actually was no longer happy. That I was fantasizing about this life where I could help people live healthier lives, but I had no idea how to make it happen. I started to speak this into existence, that this was my earnest desire, and it was shortly after that when the opportunity came knocking on my door. I had a chance to start my own coaching business and spend my days doing what I loved. Now, let me just share this. It was not all rainbows and butterflies like it may sound. Making this choice meant that I was rebuilding my income literally from scratch, that I had zero security, and if I failed to make this happen, I could be in some massive financial debt with no clue of what to do next. I had a passion for what I was going to set off to do, but I lacked the confidence that I could actually make it happen. And that is when I learned this next very important lesson about confidence. You don't magically get confidence and then go off to do something. You do something, and that experience allows you to gain confidence from it. Guys, I had to give myself the chance to actually try. And as long as I was observant and willing to learn the lessons, I'd find my way. That lesson paved the way for me to do big things, not just in my career, but also soon in my personal life. After I lost the 75 pounds, my mom was always nudging me to do some of these things that she was seeing on TV. One day, her and I actually went to a community festival, and there was this obstacle course, just like you would see on American Ninja Warrior. And I honestly could not remember the last time I really hung on anything, to be quite honest. But I figured I do a bunch of strength training. I'm strong. I'm super fit now. Why not give it a shot? Well, I got my butt handed to me, and I definitely felt some humiliation completely making a fool out of myself in public. But I loved the challenge. I loved the feeling of looking fear in the eye and stepping into the unknown. A few weeks later, I found myself enrolled at a ninja gym in town and was actively training to be an American Ninja Warrior. The first season of applications went out, I applied, and I got denied. The second season, same thing happened. But as they say, the third time is the charm, and I got the call one day from a producer in LA letting me know that they wanted to cast me on season 14 of the show. I was so excited that I would finally get my chance to be on the big stage. And once the news finally setting in, I was then drowning in fear. The obstacles were bigger than anything I had ever been on before. And I would be doing this on TV for potentially millions of people to one day see. There were so many thoughts in my head questioning whether or not I should actually go through with this. And then I had a night where I was training and there was an obstacle that was set up and I was absolutely terrified. Like, I did not want to do it, was refusing to do it. I closed my eyes. I pictured myself step through step executing the obstacle in the way that I had hoped for. And I just asked myself to be brave in the moment. Moments later, I was just celebrating the mere fact that I tried and that I had learned a really important lesson. Comfort is nothing but the enemy. Fear is the sign telling you exactly what you need to do in order to level up. From that point forward, I changed my perspective on fear, and I saw it as my ally that was giving me the answers to the test. If I really wanted to achieve big things, I had to follow fear in the unknown in order to achieve it. I want you to think about a fear that you've had recently, because I know that we all have them, and I want you to write it down. I now want you to think about, if you were to overcome that fear, how would life look different for you? What could you potentially achieve? Who could you become on the other side of it? Asking yourself these questions will give you the answers you need to courageously step into discomfort and prove yourself that you freaking can. I competed on 2 seasons of American Ninja Warrior and eventually became a part of their obstacle testing team for a season. Just like my mom nudged me to try ninja, she also nudged me to try the next big thing that would change my life. She had recently joined a brand new gym, and that gym was training her to compete in a hybrid racing series called DECA. After she had done a couple, she had begged me, literally begged me, to do one myself. So I gave into the peer pressure, and I gave it a shot. Once again, got my butt handed to me, and I had never been in so much pain in my entire life. I swore I would never, ever do it again. But the universe had very different plans for me. After I decided to hang up my ninja shoes, the idea of DECA started to come back around, and I knew I could be better, I could be faster, so I decided to give it another shot. What turned into giving something another shot turned into me becoming absolutely obsessed with this new race series. Over the next few months, I put in the work, I chopped off minutes off of my original time, and I found myself qualifying for my very first World Championships. It was that event where I started to set my next big goal, and that was to one day race in the elite wave. I was so inspired sitting on the sidelines watching these strong girls just go to their limits, and I knew that one day I wanted to be upon them. While I was a trainer, and I would have loved to figure it out on my own, kind of was stubborn that I wanted to figure it out on my own, I knew that if I actually wanted to go somewhere, if I wanted to go far, I could not take this journey alone. At that World Championships, there was a man that had taken home 6 titles, and he inspired me beyond belief, not just because of the results that he had, but the team that he brought, the community that he had, the way that he showed up in his races. And I dug up the courage to ask him to coach me on Instagram, thinking there's no way I am worth this guy's time. But without a doubt, we scheduled a call. He had no hesitation and wanted to help. And 12 months later, I was standing on a podium with him as a world champion. But I also now was one of his coaches that got to help other people find their podium. This moment in my life highlighted this really important lesson. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you have to go together. Had I not asked for help, I would have never been able to level up my DECA game in the way that I did last year, or be a part of the best hybrid racing team in the entire country. So here we are. Now it's the present day. I'm currently in my prep for my third world championship that will take place in December. And I'm coaching 17 other wonderful women that have dreams to do well. I'm also a private trainer now at a gym in Windsor called Pursuit Performance and Training, and it is arguably the best gym in Colorado helping people get real results in their wellness journey. Before I end things today, I want to leave you with two incredibly important lessons that are currently helping me attack this next chapter of my life. The first is truly understanding the power of what if. When you say the words what if, what tends to follow? Is it something positive, something negative? Is it the best case scenario, or does it happen to be the worst case? Once I realized a lot of my what ifs were all about the bad things that could happen, I also realized that I was losing the power of what if could actually bring to my life. When I started thinking about what if the best things were to come, my energy shifted, my perspective started to change, and the actions that I took actually moved the needle. The next time that you find yourself saying what if, I really want you to pause and think about what is about to come next. Are you using what if to build you, or are you using what if to absolutely break you? This is the final lesson I want to leave you with as you continue upon your level up journey. And honestly, it's probably the most important one of them all. Let go of the outcome and enjoy the process. As I prepare these next 8 weeks for World Championships, I know it's going to be so easy to be swept up in the nerves of, am I doing enough? And questioning my ability to defend some of the titles that I won last year. This lesson really highlights that I'm not in control of whatever is going to happen in December, but I am in control of how I experience it, what I take from it, who I become because of it. When it's all said and done, you guys, the excitement that comes from getting on the podium or achieving the thing that you've been dreaming of only really lasts for a moment. But what lasts forever are the memories you created with others and the proudness that comes with showing up as the person you've always wanted to be. Thank you guys so much for listening to that. I would, of course, love any feedback that you have to give on the speech, especially before this Friday. I'm really excited to do this. I'm really excited to be stepping into my power and to be taking a step into potential next chapter of my life. And like I said, I just always appreciate you guys giving me the space to level up and to level up together. So I'll let you guys know how it goes next week. I'm sure I'll have stories about that and about some other tough wins that have currently hit my life. But until then, see you guys on the other side.